Hello, I'm Mark Winter, and you are listening to Verse by Verse. I'd like to ask you a question. What is one of the most beautiful traits that could be found in any person? There's a short verse in the Bible that shares what I believe is one of the most important and beautiful traits that could ever be found in any human being. Hebrews 13:8 states, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Let's consider what this is telling us. Jesus Christ, the God being that has existed forever, along with the Father, according to John 1, verses 1 through 3, the same Spirit being that made all that we see and know on this planet and beyond, can always be counted on. According to Hebrews 13:8, Jesus Christ is the quintessential picture of consistency. Now, is that really a big deal? Well, let me put it to you this way. What if we had a creator that wasn't consistent? For example, I like your friend Tommy, so he can violate my holy righteous law with no repercussion. But I don't feel the same way about you, so you better not break my law. Well, clearly that would not be fair, would it? That isn't loving, and that would make his word untrustworthy as well, because Galatians 6 and verse 7, God tells us we reap what we sow, meaning all of us, not just some of us. Hebrews 13:8 shows us that we can trust God entirely, again, because he is consistent. So this trait of God is incredibly important in understanding who God the Father and Jesus Christ are, and it is clearly a beautiful trait. Jesus Christ does not play games with us. He doesn't change his mind at the drop of a hat or tell us something that we cannot later count on to be true. In fact, in this same book of Hebrews, chapter 6 and verse 18, we are told that it is impossible for God to lie. Now, I take great comfort in knowing that, and I would imagine, or certainly hope, you do too. Understanding that Jesus Christ is completely honest and completely trustworthy and completely consistent provides tremendous comfort and peace in the life of any who believe both in God and what God teaches. If our Creator, who would later come down to this earth and die to pay the death penalty for our sins, were to operate as we human beings do, that would be a real problem. Consider that the sustaining and the continuation of the entire universe depends on the constancy and the consistency of God. Consider the fact that God is a God of coherence, of continuity, and that if he were not, we could not count on the sun setting tonight or the sun rising tomorrow morning. And if it didn't, we humans would not survive. The truth is that God sustains the entire universe. Imagine if God said, well, I've evolved from my previous thoughts, and I now don't believe that I need to uphold this universe that I have brought you human beings into, and so I'm going to let it slide off its axis into oblivion. I've heard people use that term many times in the past. I have evolved in how I see this or that. The truth is that we can take tremendous comfort in knowing that Jesus Christ is indeed the same yesterday, today, and forever. And since we are to follow the example of Jesus Christ, as is shared in 1 Peter 2, verse 21, among other places, then clearly he expects you and me to also develop the trait of consistency. Consistency in telling the truth. Consistency in being a good husband or wife. Consistency in being a God-fearing person, spouse, parent. Yes, just as God is consistent, he wants us to develop that all-important trait too. In order to overcome a sin, consistency is required, isn't it? In order to become an outstanding athlete or musician, one must consistently practice. And that is true when it comes to Christianity as well. We must consistently practice what God teaches. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It is both critically important for we human beings to understand and appreciate, and hopefully something we also see as beautiful.
Verse by Verse is a Life, Hope, and Truth podcast. Check out the show notes to find more free content, like videos, articles, and booklets in our Learning Center.